It is with immense pride and gratitude that I stand before you to nominate a truly remarkable individual for the CASW Distinguished Service Award. Lynn Brogan is a name synonymous with excellence, dedication, and an unwavering commitment to the field of social work. For over 40 years, she has exemplified what it means to be a leader, a change maker, and an advocate for the most vulnerable members of our society. Lynn's academic and professional accomplishments speak volumes. From her degree from the University of New Brunswick on to a Master's of Social Work degree at Dalhousie University, Lynn has dedicated herself to this profession and what it stands for. Raised in Nova Scotia, Lynn's life's work has been a testament to her deep connection to this province and its people. Her career spans an impressive range of roles, from mental health clinician to frontline child protection worker, manager, program consultant, regional administrator, and executive director. Each of these roles reflects her boundless energy and unparalleled skill set. During her tenure as Regional Administrator of Community Services for the Central Region, Lynn oversaw a team of more than 400 staff who delivered essential programs, including housing, disability support, and child and family youth services. Lynn has made history as the Executive Director of the Disabled Persons Commission, where she played a monumental role in designing and implementing Nova Scotia's first accessibility legislation. And as President and Treasurer of the NSCSW from 2018 to 2024, she has led with incredible distinction, leaving a legacy that continues to impact our profession today. Lynn's dedication to child welfare work in particular is extraordinary. She championed the Child Welfare on the Brink campaign, galvanizing attention toward challenges in child welfare and pushing for meaningful government action. This advocacy secured critical funding for vulnerable families, helping them achieve the stability needed for the reunification of children with their families. Through her determination and visionary thinking, Nova Scotia is on path to establish a Child and Youth Advocate Office, offering a vital voice to children and youth whose rights might otherwise be overlooked. Her tireless leadership also led to the adoption of the groundbreaking policy framework, Building an Ecosystem for Child and Family Well-Being, officially launched by the college in 2023. These achievements highlights Lynn's ability to drive systemic change and ensure that the values of social work remain firmly rooted in policies that directly impact people's lives. Yet Lynn is not only a leader and innovator, she is also a beacon of mentorship and inspiration to so many. She is widely recognized for her exceptional ability to guide and uplift those around her. I've experienced this personally, and she has been an amazing mentor to me in my time here as executive director. Lynn's expertise in navigating complex government negotiations has been pivotal in turning ambitious visions into actionable, effective policy. She has a rare quality of making even the most challenging work a joyous endeavor. Her energy is magnetic and her passion is contagious. Whether she's mentoring social workers, collaborating with colleagues, or advocating at the highest levels of government, Lynn takes every task with a sense of purpose and collective pride. This blend of joy and tenacity has left an inevitable mark on all who have had the honor of working with her. Promoting the role of social work and child welfare is not just about acknowledging the hard work of extraordinary professionals like Lynn. It is also about understanding the profound influence social workers have in shaping a safer, more equitable society for the next generation. Lynn has dedicated her life to ensuring that every child has the opportunity to thrive, supported by a nurturing environment, and ultimately ensuring that we have the policies and advocacy tools to provide that care. As Lynn approaches the conclusion of her career, it is only fitting that we recognize her efforts, not just for what she's accomplished, but for the foundational hope and legacy she leaves behind. Nova Scotia is stronger, more compassionate, and more just because of her work. I can think of no better way to honor Lynn and her incredible contributions than to award her the CASW Distinguished Service Award. It would represent not just recognition of her work, but also a celebration of the lasting impact she has had on countless lives, families, and communities. Please help me in honoring Lynn's amazing career. Thank you.
First, let me say I'm sending recorded voice messages. I am at sea heading to the Panama Canal in celebration of my 65th birthday. Wow, I can't believe I'm actually saying that. Life is so short, and the older you get, the more you realize this. I would like to begin by sincerely thanking Alex Stratford and council members at the Nova Scotia College of Social Workers for your nomination and support. As I enter the final phase of my career, to be recognized for this national award is indeed humbling. I am both grateful and appreciative. In my 30-plus years working in the field of social work, in my experience, while social work is a challenging profession, I've also found it to be tremendously rewarding. And in that time, I've been a part of and led the development and transformation of organizations, policy, programs, legislation, and service delivery at a regional, provincial, and national level. I believe the profession of social work is a path you are drawn to. It is a calling. It is a calling of service to others, often less fortunate or privileged than you. The profession provides you with an opportunity to make a difference in the lives of others, which I believe making a contribution in the service of others, in the service of our community, is central to who we are as human beings. Personally, I was very fortunate to be brought up in a home where public service was valued, was honored, and I wish to thank my mom and dad for providing me with a healthy, safe, and loving environment, one which every child should experience. Professionally, I've enjoyed a successful career that has spanned most fields of social work. And one thing I've learned along the way is you don't achieve a successful career on your own, no matter how smart and skilled you are. And of the importance of always remembering, honoring, and respecting those who have mentored, supported, and championed you throughout your career. I've been blessed with having superior mentors spanning my career, from having an amazing frontline supervisor in Harold Beals to superior leaders in manager and administrator positions such as Bob Kelsel, Bill Campbell, Gary Porter, and champions at the associate and deputy minister level like Dave Ryan, Judith Ferguson, and Rob Wood. I thank you all for always believing in me, for your investment in me, and for your unwavering support. I have to say, the many years I held the position of Central Regional Administrator with the Department of Community Services was a highlight in my career. I was so fortunate to be surrounded by second-to-none colleagues that made up the Central Regional Management Team, the best team of professionals one could ever dream of. This team never wavered in placing vulnerable Nova Scotians as their #1 priority, despite at times what the policy of the day outlined. It was a time when frontline staff were valued for the difficult work they performed day in and day out, when the importance of developing social work knowledge and skill was recognized, as was the role of mentoring and supporting them, when valuing the critical importance of creating learning environments was understood, and places of work where staff learned from their mistakes, and they knew when the chips fell, we had their back. Creating such an environment, my experience, allows social workers to reach their greatest capacity and in turn promotes an environment for social workers to provide quality services to those they work with. I spent a great deal of my career practicing and overseeing the field of child welfare, for which I am very proud of. Child welfare is a field of social work that is not for the faint of heart, but for those who have practiced in it for decades. I can tell you their passion for the work and their dedication to those they serve is honorable, is extraordinary, and is to be commended. Frontline child welfare staff should be valued within our profession by both their social work colleagues and external helping professionals. They must be identified as essential workers and receive the utmost respect for the work that they do. The role should never be relegated to solely a case management function where social workers adhere to a regimented to-do and do-not-do list and fear reprisal or liability for using their professional judgment. Child welfare is not a business. It's not a service Nova Scotia delivery system of tickets and wickets, and should never be treated as such. It is a professional, human service field of social work practice where relationships is key, relationships is central. I was so fortunate in my time overseeing child welfare to be surrounded by people with subject matter expertise and, to be frank, just good common sense. And I would personally like to highlight two such professionals and thank Sylvie Willette and Bev McDonald-Dubinsky for your sage and wise advice, for your loyalty, and for your friendship. I also wish to thank leaders specific in child welfare that supported my career, Barb Brown, George Savory, and Vicki Wood. For the past 7 years, I have served on the executive of the College of Social Work, the last 4 years as your president, and we have made great strides in that period for which I'm proud. I look forward in my capacity as Vice President to continue to develop and support the strategic work of the College. In closing, my hope for each and every one of you is that you recognize and value your contribution, that you are proud of your profession, that you stay true to your social work ethics and values, especially in times when they are tested, and trust me, they will be. And that irrespective of your field of social work, your place of employment and position, that you always seek out, you always advocate and improve the lives of vulnerable individuals. In so doing, you will honor yourself, you will honor your profession, and stay true to why you became a social worker in the first place. I thank you again for this recognition. I thank you for this honor.
Hi there, my name is Tyler Colburn. I am the Professional Development Consultant with the Nova Scotia College of Social Workers, and I have the privilege of having nominated Patrick Maubert for the Ken Belanger Memorial Award. Patrick has years of experience and commitment to substance use recovery, creative arts, and the 2S LGBTQI+ community. Since arriving in Halifax in 2018, they've been deeply involved in advancing queer and 2S LGBTQI+ initiatives as a social worker, but also more broadly in the community. They've served for 5 years on the Halifax Pride Board as a wellness lead, where they founded the Elder Committee and the Health and Wellness Committee to foster inclusivity and intersectional connections. During this time, Patrick also co-founded Untoxicated Queers. As a program manager at the McPhee Center for Creative Learning, Patrick created the Queer Arts GSA, which provided a space for 2S LGBTQ+ youth to express themselves creatively. Patrick's also done work with the AIDS Coalition of Nova Scotia, where Patrick also founded the PNP Project, establishing a social engagement platform for queer individuals affected by or engaging with party and play. Patrick has done so much. Patrick has also been a guest speaker at 3 totally outright leadership programs for queer leadership and advocacy development at SAGSA conferences and GSA conferences. They've developed a queer musical theater curriculum for drama festivals in the Maritime Conservatory of Performing Arts. Patrick has also shared their expertise on queer harm reduction and recovery at the Canadian Centre on Substance Use and Addictions International Conference, and as a panelist at the CBRC National Convention in Vancouver, where they were discussing Untoxicated Queers, the PNP Project, and the importance of 2S LGBTQI+ focused approaches to substance use. Most recently, Patrick joined the Brunswick Street Mission, advocating for accessible services, including photo ID access, name changes, and gender marker changes, as well as supporting individuals, particularly trans and non-binary folks, with administrative and financial assistance. I've known Patrick probably for about 7 years at this point, and I've just been witness to their incredible work that they've done in community for queer people, but also for people more broadly, just in general. And they're a fabulous social worker, and I look forward to seeing where their career goes. And I'm really grateful that I was able to nominate them and that they were successful and became the recipient for the Ken Belanger Award. Thank you so much.
Hey there, folks. My name is Patrick Maubert. My pronouns are he and they. And I just want to take this opportunity to share my gratitude and give a couple of thank yous. It is such an honor to be the recipient of the Ken Belanger Memorial Award. His legacy is one of being a real trailblazer, very much was a champion for queer and trans voices, especially at a time where it was not always safe to do so. His legacy inspires me to continue to do the work I do, working with 2S LGBTQ+ communities, and to continue the work to create and hold and challenge spaces so that more folks can be at the table. So a big thank you to Tyler and to all my colleagues over at the Nova Scotia College of Social Workers. It's a real honor. Thank you very much. A big thank you to all of my queer mentors along the way who have inspired me so much to be able to stand back and to watch and learn through their practice and about their practice has been inspirational. A big thank you to my current team at the Brunswick Street Mission. It's a real honor to work with such passionate folks that are championing social justice and fighting against oppression and poverty, and who bring such energy to the work. It's really inspirational to work there. Another big thank you to my co-director of Untoxicated Queers, Lynn. Together, we have been working just over 5 years now of creating safer spaces for queer and trans folks in the intersectionality of queerness and substance use, and creating spaces for sober parties, for sober conversations, and just a space to connect and to share light and experience. And lastly, a big thank you to my beautiful partner, Angel, who is such a support, such a rock, a compassionate ear to listen about tough days, in this field, and also inspiring days in this field. Today is definitely a happy and exciting one. And now more than ever, it's so important for queer and trans people to have solid allyship, true allyship, and support. We need it more than ever now. It's truly a matter of life and death around the world, but also here at home. So this award means a lot. And it inspires me to just keep working harder. And thank you. I'm very grateful.
Hello, Quay. My name is Emma Larson-Yor, and I'm a registered social worker here in Mi'kma'ki, Nova Scotia. I acknowledge that I'm a settler here in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral lands and territory of the Mi'kmaq people. I've nominated my dear friend and colleague Michelle Peters for the Diane Keyes Memorial Award. Michelle has been an inspiration to colleagues and the community at large. Her Indigenous framework of practice, research, and mentorship have been exceptionally influential. Her ethical standards are culturally informed, and she shares this knowledge with the community at large. Much of Michelle's career has focused on supporting women who have been impacted by violence and intergenerational trauma, providing them with the tools and empowerment strategies to overcome their situations. Michelle's framework and research is informed by a critical lens, and she is always working towards decolonization practices. She is working towards resiliency, empowerment, and sovereignty. She shares her knowledge with the academic world via her PhD research, through community consultations and her committee work. This is being done with the Indigenous and non-Indigenous community at large. Michelle also is an educator with St. FX and Dalhousie Universities, where she shares her unique framework with learners. Michelle is always thinking about how she can work with and improve the health and well-being of Indigenous peoples, standing with those who are systematically discriminated against and thus most vulnerable. Michelle is guided by her heart and empathy, and you know this as soon as you meet her. She's genuinely making change with her heart and ethics as her compass. Michelle is also multi-talented. She brings her spirituality and creativity to the work that she does. Her voice, the drum, and her overall craft bring much healing to those around her. She also provides mentorship and guidance to women colleagues who are pursuing leadership and career advancement opportunities, and has been an inspiration to these women, including myself. I'm so excited for you, Michelle. Walaliuk.
Goyam Sirwen, Delawisi Michelle Peters, Delewe Big Dugawach, Mi'kmaq Nation. Good evening, everybody. My name is Michelle Peters. I come to you from Pictou Landing First Nation in the beautiful Mi'kmaq territory here in Nova Scotia. I am a clinical specialist in private practice. I have been doing this work since 2022 in private practice, but I have been doing clinical support since 2012. My practice is known as Edley Impisimkik in Mi'kmaq. This translates to where I go to heal. And it is my hope that individuals that I work with feel that this is a place where they can come to do the healing work. I work exclusively with Indigenous clients as far as clinical work is concerned, but my other part of the work that I like to do is also customizing training and education programs for both Indigenous and non-Indigenous folks, groups, and communities. I also do consultation work for Indigenous and non-Indigenous groups and communities, as well as doing a little bit of teaching for St. Evax, for Dalhousie, and for St. Thomas. So I have a little bit going on there. I'm also a third-year PhD candidate, and my research is looking at principles of Etowah-Monk in clinical work with Mi'kmaq people here in Nova Scotia. So I'm very excited about that as well. I am very honored to be selected for the Diane Kays Award as a survivor of domestic violence myself. I truly am passionate about supporting other individuals to navigate that very complex and challenging experience of domestic violence. All of us want to feel safe. All of us want to be respected. And we all deserve dignity no matter what our circumstances are, what communities we come from, or what differences may separate us. That is something that we all have in common. I would also like to thank Emma Larson-Irv for nominating me for this award. She is a former colleague of mine. We worked at Nova Scotia Health together. We were working together all through the pandemic and beyond, supporting both Pictou Landing First Nation as well as Boknagig First Nations. So we have become very familiar with each other's work, and so I appreciate her just as much as she appreciates me, and thank her for this nomination. I would also like to thank my husband, who is there for me every single day, who lifts me up and believes in me, my parents, my family, my community. I've had so many beautiful mentors along this journey of mine, and it is because of all of that support that I am here today. So I would like to say thank you for that, as well as to our Indian residential school survivors. You all have done so much work to lay the foundation for the rest of us to build upon. And it is because of their hard work that we continue to be able to break glass ceilings and move mountains. And so I just wanted to take the moment to acknowledge them as well. In this opportunity that I have here for that I have your attention, I would like to remind everybody how important it is to support and advocate for missing and murdered Indigenous folks in this country. There are not just the missing, but also the murdered Indigenous folks in this country. This is happening every single day across Turtle Island, across Canada, across the United States, and it's not being talked about. It's not given the same platform as individuals that are not Indigenous have. So please do get involved. Please advocate. Please support. Please, do your part to bring attention to this national crisis that we are experiencing. We as a nation cannot move forward and get better if all of us are not moving forward and getting better together. So thank you all very much for this opportunity and for this beautiful award. And I hope you guys all enjoy the rest of your evening. Walaliek.
Hi, my name is Lynn Revels. My pronouns are she, her. I currently live in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. I'm the mom to one son, Theo, and I'm working on completing my MSW through Memorial University. Regarding my practice, I'm a children and care social worker with Mi'kmaq family, and prior to that, I spent time on the intake team as well as the temporary care and custody team. Working alongside children has always been a passion of mine, and it's something I discovered while working in small option homes and group homes. I am truly honored to have received the David William Connors Memorial Award. Social work is often a very invisible helping profession, and it's very nice to see social workers being recognized for their hard work and their dedication. I would also like to acknowledge the other recipients. Congratulations. A quote that I often lean on is one by Josh Shipp, and he states that every child is one caring adult away from being a success story. I have shaped my practice on this belief and pride myself on showing up for youth without judgment and with unconditional love. I would like to thank Allison Pitt for nominating me for this award, as well as every social worker that I've worked with over the years. I'd also like to thank my son, my friends, and my family for always encouraging me, and of course, and most importantly, every child, youth, and family that I've had the pleasure of meeting and getting to know along the way. Thank you for letting me be a part of your journey.
Hello. I want to start out today by saying I am so grateful to the Nova Scotia College of Social Workers for this opportunity to shine a light on some of the unsung heroes that live and work amongst us. Cooley Mahorta was selected this year for the Ron Stratford Memorial Award, which recognizes the contributions of these important community members. This particular award honors Ronald Stratford's legacy of approaching social services holistically and with a strong focus on prevention and community development. My name is Karen Nichols, and I am the former executive director of the Canadian Mental Health Association, the Nova Scotia Division, as well as a founding member of the Nova Scotia Community Mental Health Coalition. Cooley is a community activist who has made impact from one end of this province to the other through his work with bereaved families of Nova Scotia, as well as his compassionate involvement in the disability community, amongst many other things. I recall the first time I connected with Cooley, it was a cold call, and he was reaching out to introduce himself to see if CMHA Nova Scotia would be interested in partnering with bereaved families on a large grant that would make impact across the province and in significant ways. And he would not take no for an answer. Cooley is a master strategic thinker who has a proven ability to bring partners together and make this world a better place. And a couple of really good examples of this ethos comes to mind when I think of Cooley's work. Cooley is the driving force for our community-based collective of Nova Scotia mental health organizations known as the Nova Scotia Community Mental Health Coalition. To this small but mighty group, Cooley brings the strategic vision and energy that has been part of our driving force, enabling our small collective to come together in order to amplify the impact of our programming, as well as to our advocacy for those living with mental illness across the province. Additionally, and with that same kind of community building energy, Cooley was the founding member of Muli Umsuti, which is translated as taking care of each other. Along with CMHA Nova Scotia and Wagoma Mental Health and Addiction Services, Cooley was both the vision and the energy behind this partnership that explores a shared approach in building capacity in underserved Indigenous communities to support grief-related programming and services. Equal parts strategy and compassion, Cooley brings an astute lens to everything he does, and I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to work alongside and learn from his broad experience and deep passion for building healthier, more self-sustaining communities across Nova Scotia. Congratulations, Cooley. This is such a well-deserved award.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cooley Malhotra, and I'm the project lead with Bereaved Families in Nova Scotia. I'm humbled to be selected for the Ronald Stratford Memorial Award, and I would like to thank the nomination and selection committees, as well as the Nova Scotia College of Social Workers for this award. 1 in 3 Canadians are impacted by mental health concerns. A significant number of Canadians and Nova Scotians suffer from mental health challenges due to grief. Left unchecked in earlier stages, grief can compound and result in significant mental and physical health issues. This, of course, can result in depression, trauma, and other outcomes to both mental and physical health. And there are also significant costs to our society from both a social and economic perspective. As a grassroots organization based out of Cape Breton, Bereaved Families has been supporting grief through loss since 1990. We offer free programs in communities across Nova Scotia to help individuals cope with the loss of a loved one, such as the 6-week loss of a spouse partner program and the 8-week traumatic loss program that supports suicide loss, homicide loss, and substance abuse. In 2023, Bereaved Families began an expansion strategy to increase capacity to support individuals across the rest of the province. Over the last 2 years, we've grown from 1 location supporting 300 individuals to 10 locations supporting 1,200 at the end of 2024. Our numbers are projected to be 1,800 in 2025. This is all done by a team of 2 staff, board of directors, and 50+ volunteers. We work hard to build community partnerships and to train facilitators and launch programs in a timely manner. With the wonderful support of organizations like the Nova Scotia College of Social Workers and other partners, we feel we're up to the challenge. Thank you again for this award. It is nice to be recognized.
Hello, my name is Svanchi Yan. I'm a social worker, and I'm honored to be part of the team who nominated Julie Chemang for the Social Justice Award. The Halifax Refugee Clinic, which is located in the Halifax's North End, stands as a lighthouse, a beacon of hope, a safe space for those who have survived human rights abuses and for whom it's unsafe to return to their country of origin. They are seeking a new beginning here in Nova Scotia. There are 2 people who have been steadfast in keeping the lights on, keeping hope high, and regardless of political climate, they shed light on the barriers and unnecessary challenges that refugee claimants often face. Their names are Jillian Smith and Julie Chemang. Jillian is a current MSW student and a renowned settlement expert and advocate. Julie is the executive director of the HRC and weaves her legal background into daily social justice reforms and life-changing outcomes. These remarkable people deserve to be recognized for their unwavering commitment to strengthen our communities. They were a driving force behind the creation of the Newcomer Health Clinic, which provides primary medicine care and also social work access. Julie championed to eliminate the end of detention for newly arrived refugees in Nova Scotia, because we all know a high school age person fleeing a forced marriage should not spend 48 hours in solitary confinement in a Nova Scotia jail. Julie spoke valiantly about refugee rights for the Standing Committee in Ottawa. The truth is, she's been speaking about justice, safety, belonging, and inclusion at universities, at rallies, in the media, and at kitchen tables for over 2 decades. Her commitment has never wavered. Her conviction is necessary in a world that seems to be moving in the opposite direction of inclusion. So Julie, you're probably wishing the spotlight was not on you, but please know that it's just a little bit of the light that you have shared with thousands of others reflecting back onto you. We thank you for helping each of us, clients, volunteers, colleagues, board members, community members, find and shine our own light. We are all in this together, and we can build and protect a community that is safe and welcoming for all.
Thank you so much for this award. I'm grateful to the Nova Scotia College of Social Workers, and I'm really touched by my staff including the social workers on our team who all colluded to put forward my name. My nominator is Svantia Yan, who started with us 15 years ago as a social work placement student, Stephanie Barron, who is really so inspirational in her work, and Gillian Smith, my longtime co-conspirator, who's just finishing her MSW and is such a committed and fierce advocate. I've been so deeply privileged in my 17 years at the helm of the Halifax Refugee Clinic to have learned so much by all the people who made amazing contributions to our organization over the years. They've really taught me so much about social justice and advocacy, and I still have a lot to learn. I'm so thankful to my team of social workers, yes, but also lawyers, housing support workers, paralegals, settlement workers, placement students, volunteers, board members, even accountants. As so many of you know, a not-for-profit organization is so much more than just its executive director, and really I am wholly useless without them. Their compassion and their relentless work and their humor really bolsters me and keeps me relatively functional. And we support each other through every heartbreak and celebrate every success and try to channel each other's righteous rage. This award is especially important to me right now as the world is in crisis. These are dark times for migrant rights. And this award really goes to our clients, refugee claimants and non-status migrants, who showcase just unimaginable powers of advocacy and steadfastness every day, navigating a complex legal determination process, settling in a new country, encountering structural violence and constant barriers to accessing services and programs that most of us take for granted, all due to their immigration status. So they remind us every day that there is still so much work to be done. And as I take a moment to celebrate this award, I hope it also prompts and pushes us in whatever domain we find ourselves in and in whatever way we can to truly push for migrant and refugee rights and ensure that they are included and valued as members of our community. Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Valerie Hurd, and I had the privilege of nominating Jack Landerville for the CASW Distinguished Service Award. I'm thrilled to celebrate Jack, a fair and deeply insightful social worker, alongside his colleagues and friends, Donalda, Alex, and Marianne. Thank you, Jack, and congratulations.
Hi, my name is Donalda Edgar. I'm the manager of the Dartmouth Community Mental Health and Addictions Clinic, and I've been managing here for 9 years. I was so pleased to hear that Jack has received the 2025 Canadian Association of Social Work's Distinguished Service Award, and I can't think of anybody who would deserve it more. In the time that I've worked with Jack, he's provided clinical therapy to many folks, and he has always seen them as individuals, been able to engage with them and help them transform their lives.
Congratulations, Jack, on this well-deserved award. I had the absolute privilege of having Jack as my candidacy mentor for 2 years. And Jack, your dedication to the profession, your clients, your community, your co-workers, it cannot be overstated. Jack, your guidance and wisdom and expertise had a profound impact on my own growth and development as a social worker. You are generous with your time, ethical, skilled, compassionate, a social justice champion, and the list could go on. And I am so pleased that the association has recognized your immeasurable contribution to the profession of social work here in Nova Scotia. Heartfelt congratulations.
My name is Marianne Smith, and I have the honor of knowing and working with Jack for over 25 years. Jack is an effective therapist who provides a safe and non-judgmental space for both clients and colleagues. Many lives have been improved due to Jack's dedication and skilled work. Jack is a quiet leader who provides thoughtful insights, often helping colleagues to view situations and challenges from a different perspective. He instills hope, encouragement, and motivation to overcome some of the challenges that we all face in the daily work that we do. Thank you, Jack, and congratulations.
Okay. Well, my name is Jack Blonderville, and I am a clinical social worker with Dartmouth Community Mental Health, which is a division of Nova Scotia Health. And I am a full-time social worker with the mental health and addictions team. It means a great deal. You know, I think when you do this sort of work, I think that my whole career has been very much on the front lines. And so it's forward facing in a way, but it's also in the background in another way. And I think that what my colleagues and I do is to continue on with day-to-day practice, focused on the needs of others, and you're not thinking too much about anything other than obtaining good results in a proper and ethical way for your patients and clients. So, of course, I don't think social workers think in terms of reward or honors. But, you know, I think the most important thing for social workers is working in a way that generates respect from colleagues. So this award seems like a huge gesture of respect for my work. And so that means a tremendous amount to me. I can't tell you how much. Yeah, the college has been a really important part. The work with the college specifically has been a really important part of my career. I didn't start off working with the college, and in fact, when I began, it was the Nova Scotia Association of Social Workers, and this was just before the Social Workers Act was proclaimed. So there were a lot of social workers who were not members of the association. But as the Social Workers Act became part of how we do business in Nova Scotia, I became more and more interested in what regulatory practice looked like. And then as it got into the 21st century, into 2001 and onward, I became more interested, in large part because I had a lot of concerns about how the association, as it was then, was adapting to the demands on social workers in the 21st century. So I thought it would be important to know more about the college and see what if there was something that I could contribute. And I also had a concern about how complaints were being handled, because I was hearing from colleagues in the community that it was a process that was very difficult, that people were waiting a very long time to have their complaint dealt with, and that the whole process didn't feel entirely fair. And so I was part of some discussion around that. And what I decided to do was, rather than continue to kind of complain about how things were going, I thought I would see if I could join the process and engage with the process and see if I could generate some change, or at least contribute in some small way to generating some change. So that's what I did, and I was invited to join the Board of Examiners, and then very quickly the Complaints Committee, and I did that for 6 years, the 3 consecutive 2-year terms, and then you have to take a year off, and they can invite you back. And I was pleased, very pleased that I was invited back. And I did a second set of 3 consecutive 2-year terms, both with the Board of Examiners and with the Complaints Committee. And for the last 2 years of this final term, which ended just in October of last year, I was the chair of the Board of Examiners. So it's been a very valuable experience. Oh, there are many people who've played an important role in my career, and I suppose it's too many to mention. All the wonderful colleagues I've had in mental health and addictions. I've worked in various practice areas. I've worked inpatient service. I started off inpatient service at the Nova Scotia Hospital in 1992, and I want to especially thank a social worker who's now retired named Susan Shattuck. She was the acting director of the social work department at the Nova Scotia Hospital at that time. And Susan was good enough to hire me right out of graduate school, even though I had never worked in an inpatient unit. And she hired me, opened a huge door for me, and provided me with good support getting started in that role. So I want to very much to thank her. I'd like to thank another social worker who's now retired named Trevor Briggs, who also played a role in opening doors for me, because I went from the inpatient service, took advantage of an opportunity to work with the IWK. They were amalgamating all the child and adolescent mental health services in Nova Scotia under one umbrella in 1995, 96, in that period of time, and developing central referral. And I was given the opportunity to be part of that process, and I think I played a very valuable role in that transitional process. I was then asked to be part of the transition and the transformation of the forensic service, which was originally called the Provincial Forensic Psychiatry Service, and it was situated at the Nova Scotia Hospital. And they were interested in moving from a very assessment plus custodial model of service to forensic clients. And I was given the opportunity to play a role in transforming that service into a very much more rehabilitative one, using psychosocial rehabilitation principles. So that was an exciting opportunity, which I took advantage of. And I would like to thank Louise Bradley, who was a wonderful director and enabled that transformation to take place. Louise later went on to become chair of the Mental Health Commission for Canada. And also to thank Dr. Scott Theriault, who was a psychiatrist who played a huge role in giving me trusted roles within that program. And much thanks to him. In my current role with mental health and addictions here in the community, I would like to thank my current manager, Donelda Edgar. Donelda really understands mental health and how it can function, how it should function, how it should improve. And she's a wonderful supervisor for social workers and for all disciplines. And I would like to also just say thank you to my late spouse and partner, Sharon McDonald, who passed away a number of years ago, but who was a big part of the journey for me. And she would be so pleased that I have been given the chance to have this award. Yeah, I think, I'd like to say, and I do say at every possible opportunity, that here in Nova Scotia right now, we have a mental health and addictions program, a public system program, which is really challenged by a lack of resources. It's come a long way. It has a long way to go. I am concerned that people in frustration, it's a difficult place to work with many demands. It has a lot to learn about recruitment and retention. But I think it's really important that Nova Scotia have a proper and well-functioning mental health and addictions program. It's my hope that social workers will consider as a career to be part of the public program, because one of the great joys for me is to provide service to people who are highly vulnerable, people who frankly the rest of the world doesn't seem to care too much about. And it's a great joy to me to be able to provide a service to those folks. And it's a tougher than ever time to be in a community like North Dartmouth, where I currently work, because people are impacted disproportionately every day by the harsh and worsening economic realities and just marginalization in general. So being part of the public system, and having a healthy public system has always been really important to me. And I'm quite dedicated to remaining in the community for as long as I am able to have a career. And I'm hoping that other people will look closely at a career in public service. This is a wonderful team to work with. We do really important work. It's a wonderful collegial atmosphere. And so I will always be a big spokesperson for the public system. It's as I've said, it bears some improvement, but I remember a time when we didn't even have a proper public service mental health and addictions program in Nova Scotia. So I'm very grateful to be part of that.